Welcome to Group 19's country seminar presentation of Belgium. Belgium is a small country in Western Europe with a population of approximately 11.3 million people. It shares borders with France, Germany, and Luxembourg. The capital of Belgium is Brussels. Brussels has over 1,000 public and private international organizations that are actually headquartered there. And it is also home to the European Union and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is otherwise known as the EU and NATO. Belgium is a democratic nation, and it has a federal constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary system of governance. The king is the head of state, and the prime minister is the head of government in a multi party system. The executive power is exercised by the government, and the federal legislative power is vested in both the government and the two chambers of parliament, which are the Senate and the chambers of representatives. These are just a few facts of the country of Belgium.
Let us consider other political indicators for Belgium. According to the Freedom House 2017 report, both Belgium and the USA are considered to be politically free. Both have a rating of 1, which is the best score in civil and political rights. Belgium, however, had a higher score aggregate than the USA. Its total score was 95 out of 100, whilst that of USA was 89. In Corruption Perception Index (CPI), both Belgium and USA continue to improve on their Perception Corruption Index from 2010, but the USA had a dip in 2015, whilst Belgium continues to rise in the Perception Corruption Index. Belgium ranks 16th in the world, whilst USA ranks 18th. Data for political stability has shown that Belgium has consistently been more stable politically than the US until 2013, when it started declining due to acts of terrorism. Rule of law. The index for rule of law for Belgium is similar to that of USA. In Belgium, property rights are well protected by law. Laws are well codified, and the independent judicial system functions slowly but professionally. Since 2006, Belgium has improved on its score until 2015, when it did show a slight dip. Meanwhile, USA has remained almost flat on this index. Now let's take a look at some economic indicators. Belgium has a free market economy like the United States. Belgium's economy has long benefited from the openness to global investment and trade. The data from the Heritage Foundation shows that the economic freedom for both Belgium and Germany continues to drop since 2008 and are in the lowest in the last 10 years. However, Belgium persistently continues to rank higher than the US. Gross domestic product. GDP. Belgium is currently the 24th largest economy in the world, whilst USA is the largest economy in the world. Belgium's GDP has seen a modest increase from 408 billion in 2006 to 470 billion in 2016, whilst US GDP over the years has gradually increased from 13.8 trillion to about 18 trillion in 2015. Belgium's GNI per capita at PPP is just above 45,000, while that of the USA is above 52,000. Both countries have shown an increase in the GNI per capita PPP after the global recession in 2009. Human Development Index shows that USA has performed better in this index than Belgium, but Belgium has increased its point by 2% since 2008, whilst USA has increased by 1% within the same period. Foreign direct investment. Historical data shows that the FDI net inflow for USA over the years has been persistently higher than that of Belgium. Currently, Belgium is running a negative FDI net inflows. Annual percentage growth rate for both countries shows that both countries had a drop from 2007 to 2009 due to the global recession and started picking up in 2010. However, USA's economic growth has been better than that of Belgium. Inflation for both countries did drop in 2008 but started to rise after the global recession in 2009. Currently, both countries have a drop in their inflation, with USA doing slightly better than Belgium. The main trading partners for Belgium are Germany, Netherlands, France, USA. Belgium mainly imports raw materials and exports finished products. Some of the top exporting finished products include pharmaceuticals, vehicles, precious minerals, pumps, plastics, and oil.
Hofstede's analysis indicates the power is centralized in Belgium. The Walloons and Flemish will each have their own point of centralized power from where administration, transports, business, etc. are managed. In management, the attitude towards managers is more formal. Work relationships are contract-based, the focus is on the task, and autonomy is favored. The management is the management of individuals, and the recognition of one's work is expected. People can voice their opinion, but towards power holders, a less direct style is preferred than amongst peers. Belgians strive towards reaching a compromise. Winning a discussion is generally less important than achieving mutual agreement. Rules and security are welcome, and if lacking, it creates stress. Therefore, planning is favored. Some level of expertise welcome, and when change policies are needed, these are considered stressful. Belgium scores as a decidedly pragmatic culture. Pragmatic people tend to believe that truth depends on the situation, context, and timing. Belgians are highly indulgent, optimistic, and place great value on leisure time. A few other sociocultural characteristics of Belgium include language, religion, ethnic groups, and health status. In Belgium, 60% of the people speak the Dutch language. 39% speak French, while less than 1% speak German, mostly those in the eastern part of the country. As far as religions are concerned, 71% of Belgians identify themselves as Christian, with 20% identifying as agnostic. Less populous religions include the Muslim religion, those that identify as atheist, Jewish, and other. Belgium is made up of several ethnic groups. The largest ethnic group is the Flemish population, coming in at roughly 6.5 million people. The next largest are the Walloons, those in the southern part of the country. They come in at 3.7 million people. Other ethnic groups include Italian, Moroccan, and German. Health status in Belgium consists of the following statistical indicators. The life expectancy is 80.8 years. The adult mortality rate for males is 98 out of every 1,000 people. The adult mortality rate for females is only 57 out of every 1,000 people. Public health expenditure averages 11.2% of the gross domestic product. Lastly, let's look at education data. Educational data retrieved from the 2015 Program for International Student Assessment conducted by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. The study assesses 15-year-old students, regardless of school type and/or grade attended, in the areas of math, reading, and science. While Belgium consistently scores slightly higher in all three subject areas, and has since 2003, it is interesting to note that both Belgium and the United States are experiencing a decline over time in all three subject areas.
Technology indicators. Technology indicators has shown us that Belgium has been increasing its overall investment in research and development since 2009, reaching a peak of investing 2.5% of their gross domestic product into R&D, similar to that of the United States. This investment is aimed at improving the relatively low numbers of scientific and technological articles published by Belgians, and the equally as low number of patent applications filed in the country. However, Belgium has recently initiated a nationwide broadband program designed to provide a coherent and stable framework for encouraging continued network investment. The project is to be completed by 2020 and must achieve internet speeds of up to 1 gigabyte per second, while also ensuring coverage for mobile broadband technologies such as 4G, 5G, and LTE Advanced. With the Belgium technology infrastructure growing, one can see that this entire sector may follow. Environmental indicators. Environmental indicators suggest that Belgium is one of the most environmentally friendly countries to do business in. It scored an 80.15 on the Environmental Performance Index, ranking 41st out of 180 nations. It can boast a perfect score, ranking number 1 in biodiversity and habitat preservation. It also falls in line with other advanced nations like the United States in regards to water resources and sanitation. However, Belgium does rank far lower than the United States when it comes to air pollution, forestry, and health impacts. The regulatory bodies throughout Belgium have an integrated permit regime that can oftentimes be very complicated and costly to deal with. If a company is found in breach of any of these regulations or to be without permit, the penalties can be very costly, and it opens any company up to liability and civil damages and pay any other costs related to the infraction. Belgium has plenty of wonderful rich resources to enjoy, but it may be costly to maintain operations in this environmental market. Legal indicators. Legal indicators show us that Belgium has a relatively high rating on the International Property Rights Index, scoring a 7.5 out of 10. A more detailed look at the IPR index shows us that Belgium has an extremely favorable rating when it comes to intellectual property rights, scoring an 8.2 out of 10. This point can be further emphasized in regards to patent protections, where Belgium ranks 3rd overall in the IPR index with a score of 9.3 out of 10. In contrast to these high scores, Belgium is seen as a highly unfavorable physical property protection zone, scoring a 6.5 out of 10. Belgium had the lowest score in its region pertaining to registering property and access to loans. Belgium appears to be set up for companies to be successful that desire to license intellectual property as opposed to directly investing in the physical marketplace.
And now we will highlight the SWOT analysis for Belgium. First, we will touch on Belgium's strengths. It has a relatively low corruption rate, which leads to a stable democratic political system. Additionally, Belgium has a high business freedom, which entails an easy business startup. Next, we will discuss Belgium's weaknesses. The country's GDP is lower in comparison to other European countries. It also has a high budget deficit. Also, there is a low availability of natural resources. Moving on to Belgium's opportunities. Because Belgium is centrally located in Europe, it is very diversified, and it has a very multilingual workforce. The workforce is also highly trained and educated, and it also is the home of the second largest port in Europe. And lastly, let's take a look at Belgium's threats. Because of its diversity, there is a high threat of terrorism in Belgium, and it is also highly dependent on the European economic cycle.